The Noise has finally made his playable debut in Pizza Tower. Sporting a new set of moves that makes our mischievous troublemaker even faster than Peppino at times, the Noise is here to tear through the Pizza Tower like it's not even there. The Noise's adventure in the tower acts as a new game plus, giving us slight variations on the gimmicks and transformations we're used to bring us a brand new experience like no other. In this video, we'll be revisiting every level and seeing just how different things are when playing as the Noise. Without further ado, let's make some noise. To start, the Noise plays pretty similarly to Peppino at first. The usual moves are still here, like the Mach Run, Grab, Super Jump, Ground Pound, you get the idea. The main difference in the Noise's moveset is how he scales walls. While Peppino can easily climb up walls at speed, the Noise just bounces off of them. Instead, you can press Grab to launch back into the wall to bounce up again. The more you bounce, the less height you gain. Funnily enough, after enough bounces, the game starts flinging you downwards with more and more speed, as demonstrated in Grapefruit's playthrough of the update.
And then look, when I hit the wall, I start careening down at faster and faster speeds. It's absolutely adding negative height.
Anyway, this launch after you bounce is a fantastic way to gain speed, which you'll see is a common trend with the Noise's moveset. My absolute favorite part of the Noise's kit is his tornado attack. While in midair with your skateboard out, press your ground pound button and the Noise will slam towards the ground as a tornado. You can continue spinning on the ground to kill enemies and destroy blocks. When you let go, the Noise will bounce up and get back to business, which is also a great opportunity to launch forwards for a head start. The last changes to his movesets are all minor tweaks that completely change how you can tackle levels. His super jump can be performed at any time and at any speed, even when standing still. The uppercut, which used to be described as a pseudo-double jump, now flings you upwards, making it even better than a double jump. Lastly, at any time you can press up and jump to perform the crusher jump. It's a lot like Gustavo and Brick's double jump, which makes sense since it's literally taught to you in Gustavo and Brick's tutorial section in Gnome Forest. All other variations in moves and abilities will come from transformations and how the Noise interacts with hazards and obstacles. Let's go level by level to see what's changed. Starting in good old John Gutter, the first noticeable change is the music. Instead of using unearthly blues, we hear the absolute bop that is the Noise's jam-packed radical anthem. Outside of that, nothing else has changed. It's still the same old John Gutter we're used to. Basically all of the levels have zero physical changes to them. Their differences stem from the Noise's moveset and how differently his transformations interact with the environment. John Gutter is not affected too heavily by the Noise's moveset. Most obstacles and terrain are overcome just as easily as with Peppino's moveset. I do want to talk briefly about the music when playing as the Noise. John Gutter is the only level to use a different song when playing as the Noise, but the Noise does get a unique Pizza Time and Lap 2 theme that plays in every stage, barring War, Crumbling Tower of Pizza, and Secrets of the War. His Pizza Time song is a Distasteful Anchovy remix made by CLASCYJITTO. And his Lap 2 theme is Worldwide Noise, also by CLASCYJITTO. Both songs are bangers, but I really have to stress how good Worldwide Noise is. I think it's my second favorite escape theme in the game, only behind Bye Bye There. Moving on to Pizzascape, the night transformation works about the same as you'd expect. The only difference is that the Noise bounces off of walls instead of slamming into them, so it's easier to maintain the speed around corners. The bounces do count as hitting the wall, of course, so you can't abuse them to get the shining armor achievement. As you'll see going forward, bouncing is the name of the game when it comes to playing as the Noise. Ancient Cheese's only difference is how the bombs work. Instead of throwing them, you're told to touch the rat, and the bomb blows up automatically when doing so. This doesn't really change anything in the level. Honestly, it's easier to touch the rat than throw it at them, as if it was much of a challenge to begin with. Bloodsauce Dungeon has zero main changes. The Firebutt transformation is exactly the same, and you'd approach the regular level the same you would as Peppino. The escape is where it gets interesting though. Since the Noise's bounces stop helping after around 5 uses, the only way to ascend a few of the vertical hallways is to super jump up them. Other than that, the escape is pretty normal, if very fun. Bouncing from wall to wall like a maniac feels great to pull off flawlessly. Oregano Desert is a great time as always, and the Firemouth transformation gets a minor tweak. The jumps are much floatier than before, allowing otherwise difficult jumps when playing as Peppino to be made very easily as the Noise, while also messing with your muscle memory on some jumps. Other than that, it's the same. Wasteyard's ghost transformation has an interesting change. When picking up ghost peppers, the noise does not speed up, but is able to dash forwards a short distance. Picking up more peppers increases the speed of this dash and lets it destroy ghost blocks at max speed. As you may have noticed, I'm almost exclusively talking about how different each level's gimmicks and transformations are, and that's for good reason. While most differences in each level come from how you approach each room as the noise, there's only so much I can say about tackling the levels as the noise. I can only say this room is harder or this obstacle is easier so many times. It is worth mentioning that you do have to rethink your general strategy in each level to accommodate the noise's abilities. Some rooms can be completed faster than ever before thanks to things like the tornado attack, while other rooms require good knowledge of the noise's kit to make it through in one piece. But for the most part, I'm just going to be talking about the changes to the gimmicks and transformations. Moving on to Fun Farm, the noise holds Mort by his fucking throat and chucks him around like a boomerang. Mort will be thrown at the nearest Mort Hook or enemy, and the noise will be snapped to the Mort Hook's position if he's far away, even if there's a wall in between them. It's basically just an easier version of the original Mort transformation. Fast Food Saloon is identical. There's no changes that force you to tackle the level differently. The Weenie Mount transformation feels slightly faster, though that might just be because the noise feels faster in general. Oh, and you can kill Horsey too, even if he loses the race. He deserves it. The barrel transformation in Crust Cove is definitely faster, but it can also climb up walls instead of just being launched by a slope. It's honestly pretty goofy looking, very fitting of the noise. Other than that, nothing else has changed. The water currents function identically here, but when we get to oh shit, they'll actually work differently. Gnome Forest is a funny level to play using the noise. Normally this is a Gustavo and Brick level, so the layout is fine-tuned to their abilities. However, the noise instead swaps with another noise, who continues the level in its stead. This new noise works the exact same as the noise we're used to, and looks the exact same too. When passing by gnome pizzas, they're instead killed, and running by the gnome houses will just destroy them, collecting the toppin automatically. Oh, and the noise goblins don't shoot arrows at you. Instead, they'll just wave, but if you taunt at them, they'll gladly fire an arrow your way. Deep Dish 9 actually has a fair amount of changes. Firstly, you can no longer turn around on the ground when using the rocket transformation. Instead, bumping into walls turns you around automatically instead of removing the transformation. As you might have noticed by now, a lot of the noise's changes focus on making him bouncy as all hell. The olive bubbles are a lot slower, but if you hold up for a quick second, you'll speed up to be even faster than Peppino. Everything else is otherwise the same, but I gotta mention that this is probably one of my favorite levels to play as the noise in. This and Bloodlust Dungeon are so much fun. Golf is the exact same, no major changes here. The noise does punch Greaseball instead of using a club, but this is purely a visual difference and has no effect on the actual arc or power of the swing. The Pig City has plenty of interesting changes. When grabbing a rat balloon, either the noise eats it or his head just inflates. Either way, now you press and hold jump to ascend and grab breaks you out of the balloon, though it also pops after a while. Rail grinding functions the same, and the noise holds all the taxi drivers at gunpoint. Handcuffs can't contain the noise, instead they're forcefully spun around him until being launched forwards as a projectile that destroys blocks and kills enemies. After being caught by the cops and swapping to the second noise, he shows off some cool gloves he's wearing. This indicates that this noise hangs off of rails just like Gustavo does. There's also a Noisy driving the taxis this time, but otherwise the noise interacts with everything the same way the old one does. We can also find Brick reading a newspaper in the same spot where we can get an achievement for killing 3 enemies with 1 rat ball. That's all he's here for. In Pipebot Factory, you start the level with a bucket of water. It's even in the TV. All the bucket does is disable a set of outlets that are otherwise very difficult to avoid as the noise. After that, the noise doesn't have any changes until we get to the box transformation, though now it's the tiny transformation. As Tiny Noise, we can attack just like Boxed Peppino can, but we can also fly upwards forever thanks to our equally tiny jetpack. The Cheese Ball transformation in Oh Shit functions the exact same, but the Sticky Cheese transformation after it is slightly different. You can jump off of walls faster, and can actually move up and down walls by pressing the corresponding direction. I think it's faster to jump up them, but it's nice that the transformation has a less janky way of scaling walls. The trash pans now just launch you upwards without giving you a lid to ride on. As I mentioned during Crust Cove, the water currents are slightly different in this level. The noise now just surfs along them, allowing him to maintain speed easily. You might recognize this as the same way Peppino uses the trash pan lids to cross over the water currents. Lastly, the sewer pipes move the noise around much faster. Plenty of welcome and fun changes in this one. I actually really like playing Oh Shit as the noise. As you saw, the Noise drinks some sort of liquid at the start of RRF that gives him the Pepper Pizza's flying ability without the invincibility. I've seen some say he's drinking coffee, some say it's beer, maybe motor oil. Personally, I think it's a vat of fizzy lifting drinks. Since the Noise is able to destroy ice blocks with his jetpack, you can just skip the entire segment with the tomato topping. There are no other changes until you get the actual Pepper Pizza, and even then the only change is that the transformation automatically fires homing fireballs at enemies, as if it wasn't overpowered enough. In Pizza Scare there are 0 changes, so it just plays exactly like you'd expect it to. The animatronic transformation in Don't Make a Sound is replaced by the Noise genuinely dying. But it's okay, he gets replaced soon after. Don't Make a Sound is the exact same up until you get the shotgun transformation, which is now the Noise's minigun. You're able to fire a constant stream of sausages at foes and can even float a little with the ground pound. As one of the few heavy mains in Team Fortress 2, this makes me very happy. War is about what you'd expect, you just have the minigun instead of the shotgun. I find some of the rooms in this level to be much easier thanks to the Noise's faster moves, while others are a little trickier thanks to his bounciness. As you may have noticed, I've yet to talk about any of the bosses, and that's because they all have one key change that makes them quite a different experience. Starting with Pepperman, the Noise doesn't grab like normal, instead he throws his noise bombs at foes to damage them. This changes how you approach each boss in a few ways. Since it's a ranged attack and the bombs bounce towards foes for a bit, it's easier to stay out of range and lob bombs at the boss. However, without the grab you have no way of quickly avoiding attacks like Pepperman's ground pound or Fake Peppino's super jump. You can also only have 2 bombs out at a time, and the Noise throws bombs slower than Peppino can grab. Pepperman is made a tad bit harder thanks to these changes. As I mentioned, it's harder to avoid his ground pound, and the bomb's slower throws make it difficult to quickly carve the statues towards the end of both phases. The bombs do make it easy to finish off Pepperman though. The Vigilante is basically the same. The Noise doesn't use a revolver or his minigun, so instead you damage Vigilante with bombs like everyone else. He takes 2 hits before taking damage, and the fight progresses like usual. The draw is a tad bit different. I did not press anything there. The Noise just draws a comically large revolver early. Instead of fighting the Noise, we get the Doise, an odd looking... Right. Hold on, give me a second. Okay, this is the Doise, an odd-looking copy of the Noise. He was a joke recolor of the Noise made alongside a recolor of Peppino called Pedito, and the community latched onto him, and now he's the 3rd boss in the Noise's campaign. He fights identically to the Noise, however instead of bombs, he uses rocks that explode after a while. He drops these rocks very frequently. In the second phase it's not uncommon to have 3 of them on the screen at the same time. Other than that, the fight plays out the same. His arena is really weird. There's a lot of creepy looking Doise heads in the background and a funny looking one wandering around. After beating the Doise, Pedito swoops in and snatches the Doise away, killing him off screen. If you try to refight him, his corpse will just be lying there and you'll earn the easiest P rank ever. If you do genuinely want to refight him, just taunt 3 times in front of his door before entering. Fake Peppino is the exact same. Using the Noise's bombs doesn't change much. Some attacks are a little tougher to dodge without a grab, but that's a common trend with all the boss fights, excluding Vigilante. His chase sequence at the end has been reverted to the harder release version, and that's for good reason. Fun fact, those sprites of the Noise screaming and Fake Peppino running away are called Watch It Bub in the game files. Finally, we've made it to Pizza Face. The fight plays out the same still, though instead of launching enemies at Pizza Face, we instead just throw bombs at him when he slams on the ground. When he's dropping enemies, a well-timed bomb throw can take out 2 or 3 enemies at the same time, but it's a tight window. In Phase 2, it's what we're used to, though of course with the bombs. You can hit the cogs that Pizza Face spits out to destroy them, which is such a nice feature. I am so happy we can do that. Pizza Head takes around 5 to 6 bombs before he takes damage, which is better on your fingers than spamming 22 bullets to take out 1 point of health. In Phase 3, the Noise powers up into Super Noise, accompanied by a remix of Unexpectancy Part 3. He now throws bombs insanely quick when pummeling his foes. The refights are the same, and the Doise is still dead, so just break dance on his corpse till Fake Peppino comes in. After finishing off Pizza Head, the Noise drops a gigantic bomb on it, finishing the fight in a mighty explosion. On to the Crumbling Tower of Pizza. The Crumbling Tower pizza has brand new music when playing as the Noise, called I Need a Noise. Instead of saving everybody, the Noise just saves Noisette, a Noisy, and the bucket of water. When you run into the previous bosses, the Noise just knocks them away, including Snotty and more. Using all the different transformations and gimmicks as the Noise again is really fun. I think the Crumbling Tower pizza is the best level to show the differences between Peppino and the Noise. Other than that, level's the same. We can take our final bow to the tower and get the hell out of here. And that was everything new and changed in the Noise update. Well, almost everything, but we'll get there. Overall, this is a fantastic update. Torta Pizza went above and beyond in crafting this magnificent update. They could have just made the Noise playable and called it a day, but they went out of their way to give him 2 unique escape themes, a whole new set of clothes to unlock, completely unique mechanics, an interesting boss replacement, and music for the final boss and Crumbling Tower of Pizza. The Noise is an insanely fun character to play as. He's so much bouncier than Peppino. Launching yourself from wall to wall is really fun, and using the tornado attack to quickly descend a series of platforms feels fantastic. Playing as the Noise for a while definitely screws with your ability to play as Peppino for a while, which is to be expected, but they're both really well designed characters that feel great to control. If only there was a way to play both of them at the same time, Donkey Kong Country style. Welcome to Swap Mode, a secret unlockable mode that functions like multiplayer Donkey Kong Country. It's unlocked by falling off of the left side of the balcony after beating the game as the Noise. In Swap Mode, you control Peppino and the Noise at the same time, and are able to swap between them by taunting and pressing down during the taunt animation. This allows you to get the best of both characters. For instance, I prefer how the Noise handles on the ground, but I find Peppino's ghost transformation is easier to control. In that case, I can just swap to Peppino before entering the transformation, and swap back to the Noise once I'm done. This mode uses the Noise's campaign save files, so you'll still fight the same Noise and experience the same Pizza Head fight. If you're swapped between characters during pizza time, the music swaps as well. If you got a friend and a second controller, you can even do multiplayer couch co-op. Okay, well, I say co-op, but you're able to directly fuck with each other by grabbing whoever's in the lead and throwing them to regain control. If both players hold Mach Run at the same time, they'll enter a fight cloud that kills enemies. Admittedly, I haven't played multiplayer yet, so I don't know what it's like, but it seems really fun. Swap mode is just the cherry on top of this already fantastic update. If the Pizza Tower devs continue to add new content to the game, I am really looking forward to whatever they make. Hell, if they announce a new game, I'll still be super excited. So all in all, the Noise update is amazing. There was way more content here than anybody was expecting, and it all turned out great. The Noise is really fun to play as, from the bounciness of his main kit to all the little tweaks and changes done to his transformations and the level's gimmicks. I would love to get a new level that is dedicated to taking advantage of the Noise's moveset. Alright, that's going to be all from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time.